guys, what's going on? It's MassiveJoes RAW review, and I'm coming to you from MassiveJoes.com. Awesome raw review for the viewers at home today on an all new complete pre-workout supplement from our good friends at Bear Performance Nutrition. It is, of course, BPN Flight in the house. Let's get straight into it, show you guys exactly what's in it, tell you exactly what it's gonna do. That nutritional information panel ain't gonna get it done. We're about to go balls deep in this here BPN in-flight pre-workout. Fortunately, got ourselves a big ass nutritional information panel for the viewers at home. Dilip, go ahead and cut that panel up on the screen for the viewers so that they can play along at home. Just going to point out, viewers, that this nutritional information panel is for the orange flavor Flight, and the scoop and the serving size does vary a little bit between the flavors. Obviously, some flavors use a little bit more flavoring, colors, and sweeteners than others, but what we're about to go through, this panel you're seeing right now, is for the orange flavor. Starting from the top, the serving size, a 1 scoop, 11.2 grams. Got yourself about 30 of them 1 scoop, 11.2 gram bitches. And one of these BPN Flight bitches. In terms of what the 11.2 grams is made up of, BPN, as they do with all of their supplements, complete and utter disgusting. Full disclosure on the nutritional information panel. No secrets over at Bear Performance Nutrition. So we can do a quick sum and add up all of the active ingredients in this Flight. Quickly discover there's 8.9502 grams of actives spread over 8 active ingredients, which for the orange flavor means we're talking about 80% actives and only 20% flavors, colors, and sweeteners, which is fantastic for a pre-workout formula. Anytime we see 20% or below, and remember, some of the flavors are actually less than that. Like the orange uses I think the orange is the second most amount of flavors, sweeteners, and colors through the entire flavor range. So some of the flavors are actually less than that. So as soon as we see like 20% or less flavors, colors, sweeteners, 80% actives, that's like, man, gets one of these emojis. In terms of what those 8 active ingredients are, starting from the top, we got ourselves some vitamin C as ascorbic acid in a 250 milligram dose. Of viewers at home who are unaware, vitamin C is an antioxidant. It counteracts reactive oxygen species generated during exercise, which is going to have the effect of reducing post-workout soreness, but in a pre-workout formula in particular, it's going to help reduce the perceived exertion during exercise. So it kind of acts almost a little bit like an anti-fatigue type ingredient. Clinical dose of vitamin C for this purpose is 400 milligrams to 3,000 milligrams. We only have 250 milligrams, so it is unfortunately underdosed. And that is the only ingredient that is underdosed, as you guys are about to see. Moving right along, we then get into beta-alanine in a 3.2 gram dose. Beta-alanine increases the concentration of carnosine in working muscles, buffers the buildup of fatigue toxins such as lactic acid and hydrogen ions, which is going to have the effect of improving muscular endurance, help you train harder for longer, and stimulate more muscle growth. The clinical dose of beta-alanine is 3.2 grams. We have 3.2 grams, so we would go so far as to say it is perfectly dosed. Moving right along, we then get into betaine anhydrous, aka trimethylglycine. Betaine helps boost muscle protein synthesis through acting as a methyl donor. And the way it does this is it transfers a methyl group to homocysteine, resulting in methionine. And methionine is what boosts protein synthesis, and in particular boosts the synthesis of creatine. So it's circumventing the need for creatine in this pre-workout formula. Clinical dose of betaine anhydrous for these effects is 1,500 to 2,000 milligrams. We have 2,500 milligrams, so we would go so far as to say it is overdosed. Moving right along, We then get into N-acetyl L-tyrosine, which is L-tyrosine with an acetyl group attached, which increases bioavailability of L-tyrosine for better absorption into your bloodstream, so L-tyrosine can do what it's supposed to do. And L-tyrosine in its own right is a nootropic amino acid and acts as a precursor to L-dopa. L-dopa is, of course, a precursor to the neurotransmitters dopamine, noradrenaline, and adrenaline. N-acetyl L-tyrosine effectively is going to improve cognition in the presence of stress and works particularly well when you are a little bit sleep deprived, which we all know what that feels like, viewers at home. Your clinical dose, now this is where it gets interesting, your clinical dose of N-acetyl L-tyrosine is 300 to 500 milligrams. We have 1,500 milligrams. It is stupidly overdosed. In fact, I went back through my notes from raw reviews, and 1,500 milligrams of N-acetyl L-tyrosine, NLAT, is more than twice the greatest amount of N-acetyl L-tyrosine I've ever seen in a pre-workout supplement, and is the highest dose of N-acetyl L-tyrosine I've ever seen in a pre-workout formula, ever. Like nothing, like 750 was like the previous highest. They've taken the 750, dropped that thing on his head, and times it by 2 to give you 1,500 milligrams of N-acetyl L-tyrosine. I've never seen a dose that big in a pre-workout formula before. Moving right along, we then get into Agmatine sulfate in a 1,000 milligram dose. Agmatine, of course, is a nitric oxide booster that inhibits the enzyme that breaks down excess nitric oxide, which is going to have the effect of improving blood flow, which is in turn going to increase nutrient delivery to working muscles, improve muscle pumps, and if you're lean enough to get vascular, improve vascularity. Your clinical dose of Agmatine sulfate is 750 to 1,500 milligrams. We have a 1,000 milligrams, so we would go so far as to say it is clinically dosed. Moving right along, we then get into caffeine anhydrous in a 300 milligram dose. Caffeine, a central nervous system stimulant, is going to enhance physical energy, reduce fatigue, and boost psychological performance. The effective dose of caffeine for most of us is going to be 200 to 300 milligrams. We have 300 milligrams, so we would go so far to say that it is a very, very nice dose. Moving right along, we then get into Noor Valine in a 200 milligram dose. Noor Valine, also a nitric oxide booster, acts a little differently to Agmatine though. It inhibits the arginase enzyme that breaks down excessive arginine in our bloodstream, and therefore has the effect of preserving excessive arginine in our bloodstream. And arginine, of course, is a precursor to nitric oxide. Your clinical dose is 100 milligrams. We have 200 milligrams. We would go so far as to say that it is overdosed. In fact, similar to N-acetyl L-tyrosine, I went back through my raw review notes and I have never seen Noor Valine dosed this high in a pre-workout supplement before. This is the highest dose. The highest dose up until now was 100 milligrams. BPN, taken that 100 milligrams, dropped it on his fucking head, times it by 2, and we now have the biggest dose of Noor Valine we've ever seen in a pre-workout supplement. Moving right along to our 8th and final active ingredient, Huperzine A, one of my personal favorite nootropics, in a 200 microgram dose. Let me back that up a second. 200 microgram dose of Huperzine A. Huperzine, as a nootropic, crosses the blood-brain barrier where it works as an acetylcholine esterase inhibitor. Now, acetylcholine esterase is the enzyme that breaks down excessive acetylcholine, so we're going to get excessive acetylcholine thanks to Huperzine A. Your clinical dose of Huperzine A is 50 micrograms right up to 200 micrograms. It is way up there towards the upper end of that dosing range. In fact, once again, went back through my notes, the highest dose of Huperzine A I have ever seen in a pre-workout supplement at a 200 milligram dose. Got yourself about 20% artificial colors, artificial flavors, and sweeteners. And that's what's in it. So a very, very comprehensive pre-workout formula we are dealing with here, viewers at home. We've got ingredients for muscular endurance, we've got ingredients for muscle pump, we've got ingredients for muscle power, we've got ingredients for energy, mental focus. It really ticks all of the boxes that we look for when it comes to pre-workout supplementation. And the only ingredient that isn't clinical or way above clinical dose in here is vitamin C, which really is kind of, my personal opinion, a little bit of a fluff ingredient, to be honest with you guys. I kind of take it or leave it in pre-workout formulas. I think it's great for general health and well-being and boosting immune function, but so far as when it comes to pre-workout formulas, the jury's still out on vitamin C in my personal opinion. But a very, very comprehensive pre-workout formula on paper. If we have to break it down and kind of look for the holes, because we like to do this to keep companies accountable, first and most obvious thing that's missing is creatine, which you guys know I seriously couldn't give a about, because I really think that creatine needs to be dosed post-workout with simple carbohydrates and therefore an insulin response to get the type of bioavailability you need from creatine. I don't like creatine in pre-workout formulas at all. And in fact, because we have a whopping dose of betaine, which, as I spoke to you guys about, works to increase the synthesis of creatine naturally, we kind of circumvent the need for creatine anyway. We've got the betaine in there for muscle power. Really, apart from that, the only thing that we're missing is from the nitric oxide perspective. Now, we do have Agmatine in there and we do have Noor Valine, but we don't have an ingredient in this formula that is actually a precursor to arginine. So we don't have citrulline, we don't have citrulline malate, we don't have nitrosogene or anything like that. And I think that's really like the one kind of missing ingredient in this pre-workout formula, because you throw that in the mix with Agmatine and Noor Valine that are already in this formula, and like, man, that's like next level muscle pumps right there. And I've seen that combination of three ingredients in pre-workouts before, and the muscle pumps have been next level. So really, that's pretty much the only obvious thing that's missing in this formula. It really kind of has all other bases covered. If you wanted to get real picky, you could say, look, we could throw something in there that you generally see in pump supplements for muscle volume, like a glycerol, a Hydromax glycerol, a GPLC, something to hyperhydrate muscles. But generally, we kind of leave that for pump formulas. Man, very, very comprehensive pre-workout formula on paper. And I love the fact that all of the active ingredients, bar vitamin C, are clinical or like stupidly way above clinical dose. I mentioned to you guys, there's a few ingredients there, N-acetyl L-tyrosine, Noor Valine, Huperzine, that are the biggest doses of those ingredients I have ever seen in a pre-workout formula. So on paper, it's exciting. In terms of how it tastes, how it mixes, comes in three flavors. At the time of shooting this raw review, we've actually got our hands on a limited edition flavor, so I will mention that after I've gone through the three. So let's go. Comes in three flavors. Comes in orange. Comes in blue raspberry. Comes in pina colada, and the current limited edition flavor comes in, there it is, strawberry margarita. I've got a couple of open tubs here, as a matter of fact, because I've been trying a bunch of the flavors. I think I'm going to do the infamous MassiveJoes taste and mixability test for you guys on the blue raspberry flavor, because this is a flavor that a lot of companies mess up, to be completely honest with you. So, got our double wall glass ready to go down, spoon, going to take myself one scoop of this BPN flight in the blue raspberry flavor. I will point out that BPN have come through with the goods with their scoop size as well. We have weighed out a scoop across all of the flavors, and all of them are within 5% of what they're supposed to be. Like when it says one scoop is 11.2 grams, it's like 11.05 grams. I think it was like under by like 5%. So very, very good with the with the actual volume of the scoop. Anyway, gonna take myself one scoop of this BPN flight in the blue raspberry, throw this bitch in this bitch, and let it rain, let it rain. A few flicks of the wrist, I'm gonna show you guys how this BPN flight mixes. Refresh my memory on how this BPN flight tastes, man. All right, I think that's enough. As you guys can see, very, very well mixed. There's no floaters. There's no sinkers either. There's nothing in the middle. Man, it's mixed pretty much perfectly in a glass with a spoon. So I would go so far as to say blender ball is not required. For this here BPN flight pre-workout, let me refresh my memory on how this blue raspberry tastes, man. The fact that BPN have been able to do that with 20% or less flavors, sweeteners is exceptional. And I mean exceptional. Very, very well done. The one thing that I really like about the flavors of this flight is that they're not, I feel like sometimes companies overcompensate with flavors to try and like hide the taste of active ingredients. So you get really sweet or really strong or really potent flavors. All of these flavors across the entire range of flavors in this flight are very pleasant, drinkable flavors. They're not stupid sweet. They're not stupidly like overpowering flavors. They're not stupidly strong. They're really, really nice flavors. If I had to rank the three, let me just take the exclusive flavor out of the mix because we don't know how long that's going to be along. If I had to rank the three, I'd go blue raspberry as actually my personal favorite. I'd then go pina colada and then orange after that. You guys know I don't with citrus, so orange, lemon lime always is towards the bottom of my personal flavor ranking. But across the board, very, very good. I will mention the limited edition flavor because it's f***ing nuts. The strawberry margarita is, I think it's the best flavor, to be honest. I'm kind of hoping that they bring it back as a personal flavor because I even rank that above blue raspberry. But across the board, very, very good flavors, very pleasant flavors, very mild flavors, and very, very easy to drink flavors. In terms of the effects, because that's what you guys are taking this shit for. And we know that on paper, very, very complete pre-workout supplement. And I'm happy to tell you guys that the actual effects mimic what it looks like on paper. It is a very, very good pre-workout supplement. I would go so far as to say amazing pre-workout supplement. Let me break it down for you guys. Muscular endurance, very pronounced, very good, no surprises here. You put a full dose of beta-alanine in a pre-workout supplement, you are gonna have amazing muscular endurance, and it definitely delivers on that count. Energy, I mean, the only stimulant in here is 300 milligrams of caffeine. There's no hordenine, there's no teocrine, there's no dynamine, it's literally just caffeine anhydrous as the stimulant. But it's kind of cool how that works in with the massive dose of N-acetyl-L-tyrosine and the massive dose of Huperzine A, because you get very hard-hitting energy as you would expect from a big dose of caffeine anhydrous, but in combination, the synergism between the caffeine and the NALT and the Huperzine A with the massive doses is you get very, very clean, long-lasting energy. So it comes on real quick, but then it just lasts and lasts and lasts and lasts. And guys, I've trained on this flight for shorter workouts where I've trained for like an hour, right up to workouts where I've trained for, man, almost 2 hours. And it keeps going, like it keeps powering you through, which was very unexpected, to be honest, because when I saw the 300 mgs of caffeine and nothing else in there, no sustained release caffeine or like I said, theocrine or dynamine or anything like that, I was expecting it to come on very fast, but then fade very fast as well. And it doesn't do that at all. It's like, man, if you want to train for 2 hours, the flight will power you for 2 hours. Mental focus is just simply amazing. there's something to be said about that combination of a really big dose of N-acetyl-L-tyrosine and a really big dose of Huperzine A that just works well together. The focus is just, it's a great combination of very good mental focus and very good feeling of well-being smack bang together. And it's just a really nice feeling of just an elevated state is probably the best way I can put it. Muscle power, very, very good. I've used it with bigger muscle groups, chest, back, legs, those big workouts where, you know, you can really notice an increase in muscle power because you're lifting heavy weight, and it definitely delivers in that. It allows you to lift heavy, feel strong, feel powerful. Muscle pumps are okay. That's probably the one thing where this pre-workout falls down, and not necessarily because it's lacking, but because all of the other effects are like at this level, and then the muscle pumps are like at this level. I really think, and it mimics what we see on paper, so it's real no surprise. I really think if there was like a big dose of citrulline or citrulline malate in here, like it would literally be the most complete pre-workout that we've ever seen, but it doesn't have that. So the muscle pumps are okay with the Agmatine and Noor Valine. There's definitely room for increased muscle pump in that regard. And that's really the one effect that, like I said, you know, all the other effects are like at this level, and the muscle pumps, they're still there. It's not like they're non-existent. You still get a muscle pump, but they're just not at this level with all of the other effects that I've just told you guys about. Side effects, the one thing that you guys do need to be wary of is there is a big dose of agmatine sulfate, a gram of agmatine sulfate. If you are stacking it with a pump formula or an intra-workout that has additional agmatine sulfate, there is the possibility of it upsetting your stomach. And as I always mention, if you are sensitive to caffeine, 300 milligrams is a big dose of caffeine, so you might want to start at half a scoop and work your way up so that you don't get, you know, jitters or anxiety or whatever you get when you have a big dose of caffeine anhydrous in a short period of time. In terms of stackability, I mean, pretty obvious here, guys. It's gonna stack really, really well with a non-stimulant pump formula. No surprises. I don't like mentioning other sups in raw reviews, but because BPN make this, I will mention it. BPN also make a non-stim pump formula. It's called Endo Pump, which really fills in all the gaps with regards to the pump that I've spoken about in this raw review, with regards to things like citrulline malate, hydromax glycerol. That just stacks phenomenally with this flight and just takes it to the next level in terms of muscle pumps. But really, that's the only thing that you're going to want to stack this with. It's got all the other bases covered. It's just that nitric oxide, that precursor to arginine method of boosting nitric oxide that it's missing. So that's really what it's going to stack well with. The final thing that I will say is in terms of price and value for money. I mean, if you guys aren't impressed already by listening to this raw review, this is like the deal sealer right here. In the Australian market, you're looking at a 30-serve tub for $69.95. Now, let me just break that down for you real quick. First and foremost, most companies don't do 30-serve pre-workouts anymore because they're expensive. If you see a 30-serve pre-workout, I'm talking true 30-serve. I'm not talking like you have to take 1.5 or 2 scoops. I'm saying like you actually get 30 serves. If you see them in the Australian market at the moment, they're usually $80, $90, even sometimes $100. This 30-serve in the Australian market retails at $69.95 for 30 true serves. Not 1.5 scoops, not 2 scoops. You take 1 scoop, you're never gonna double scoop it, you're never gonna 1.5 scoop it, $69.95 for 30 true serves, which breaks out at $2.33 per serve, which really makes it, and this is not my opinion, this is being objective, the best value for money complete pre-workout supplement on the Australian market at this point in time. Most other pre's at that price point at $69.95 are 20 serves. You're getting $69.95 for 30 serves. I don't even know how BPN make that possible, to be honest with you, because no one else seems to be able to do it, but they've done it, and as I mentioned, makes it really the best value for money by a significant by pretty much 33%. The best value for money complete pre-workout supplement on the market in Australia at this point in time. Guys, if you're in the market for an all-new pre-workout supplement that is gonna tick all the boxes when it comes to muscle power, muscular endurance, great energy, exceptional mental focus, great feeling of well-being, and decent muscle pumps with a really pleasant flavor profile and just stupid good value for money, you have to go out and get yourself some of this BPN Flight. Guys, hit the subscribe button. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, turn your post notifications on, both on your mobile, your cell phone, and your desktop PC. Hit the f***ing bell, because that'll turn those notifications on for you. You don't even have to worry about everything I just said. Guys, that is MassiveJoes RAW review on the all-new BPN Flight pre-workout in the house. And I'm coming to you from MassiveJoes.com. Stay massive.